Hello and welcome to the Fossil Huntress Podcast. I hope you guys are all doing really well. Today on the show, we're going to take a journey 500 million years back in time to one of the most extraordinary fossil sites on the planet, the Burgess Shale. And the fossil exposures here are nestled high in the Rocky Mountains of British Columbia in Canada. So close your eyes and fly with me up to the top of North America, find Canada's far western shore, and then move along on your map to Vancouver and head east. So if we were driving from Vancouver to the Burgess Shale in Yoho National Park, it's a trip that takes about 9 hours and change. It's a little under 9 hours driving time, but if you stop and get gas and eat a little something, it's a very full day, or you can divide it up into a 2-day trip. But as we are flying, we arrive rather instantly, which makes your traveling so much easier. And this site isn't just famous, it's legendary. And why? Because the Burgess Shale preserves an astonishingly detailed snapshot of early life on Earth. So it dates back to the Middle Cambrian, so about 508 million years ago. And it's a pretty special site. So what makes the Burgess so special? The fossils here are rare and remarkable and are preserved not only as hard shells and bones, but also the soft parts of animals. So we're talking about things like guts and eyes and tentacles and neural tissue. So things that are rarely, almost never preserved in the fossil record. We see at Burgess. And the creatures found here represent some of the earliest complex life forms. So a mind-blowing cast of characters from a time when life was exploding in diversity and complexity. You can think of it as nature's original experiment lab full of alien-looking arthropods and spiny worms and bizarre filter feeders. And some of the earliest chordates, animals that share our evolutionary ancestry. So, what are some of the iconic fossils of the Burgess Shale? So some of the headliners would include Anomalocaris, a meter-long predator with grasping appendages and a circular mouth lined with teeth. And it looks like something straight out of a sci-fi film. Opabenia with 5 eyes and a long proboscis. It's one of the weirdest creatures ever discovered. And Waxia, Hallucigenia, Morella, and each one stranger than the last. And Picaea, a tiny worm-like creature with a notochord, a feature shared by all vertebrates, and that includes you and me. It's one of the earliest known members of our own evolutionary lineage. So where can you see Burgess Shale fossils today? So you can view these astonishing fossils in a few places. The Royal Ontario Museum, the ROM in Toronto, is home to one of the world's largest collections of Burgess Shale specimens, and they have fantastic displays and digital reconstructions of these ancient creatures. If you're near Ottawa, you can visit them at the Canadian Museum of Nature, and they have some wonderful specimens on display. The Banff Park Museum and the Yoho National Park Visitor Center near Field, British Columbia, have smaller collections but worthy, and they're right near the source. And the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. also has a very worthy and spectacular collection of Burgess Shale fossils. And can you go see them for yourself? Yes, you can. You can hike to the fossil beds. Parks Canada offers guided hikes to several of the key Burgess Shale sites in Yoho and Kootenay National Parks, and it is a trip worth doing. There are 3 main hikes. The Walcott Quarry, which is the classic. It's a full day. It's about 21 kilometers round trip, with some stunning views and up-close looks at where Charles Doolittle Walcott first discovered these fossils back in 1909. There's the Mount Stephen trilobite beds, which is a bit shorter but still steep, but the hike rewards you with a ground literally covered in trilobites. And Stanley Glacier hike, which is in Kootenay National Park. It's a more recent site with new discoveries and another great option and different way to experience the Burgess Shale. So the hikes are moderately to very strenuously indulging, so you need to be in pretty good shape, and you need to book them in advance through the Parks Canada website. Their guides are wonderful. They have very knowledgeable interpreters. Often they are geologists and paleontologists themselves and can tell their stories as well as the stories of discovery at the site and the various species. And they can tell us what the fossils tell us. So the Burgess Shale helps us understand the Cambrian explosion. So that was a dramatic moment in Earth's history when most major animal groups first appeared. And it shows us that early life was diverse and even stranger than we could have imagined. That evolution involved a lot of experimentation, and many of the creatures here left no descendants. And even the tiny creatures like Pikaia played a major role in our own evolutionary history. So it's a story of ancient oceans, evolutionary innovation, and a delicate moment frozen in shale. It's a time capsule from a world we barely recognize, and yet one that gave rise to us all. So that's it for today's journey into our deep past, my friends. And if you get the chance, I highly recommend visiting Yoho National Park and joining in on one of those hikes. And you will be standing there high on a mountainside with 500 million years of history beneath your boots. It's equally humbling and awe-inspiring. So I'll share some photos of the Burgess specimens over on my blog, Archaea, and you can find it by heading to fossilhuntress.com. And there's a link there to Insta and YouTube and a few other places. So you're welcome to check those out for the visuals. And I will talk to you all soon. So you take care and keep searching and keep looking and keep being awesome. Take care. Bye-bye now.